doing, everyone? It is Sunday night, it's 8 o'clock, and you know what that means. It's time for a motherfucking broadcast. I'm Billy Kirkwood, to relax. I've never heard of me either. The way it works here on Braw Cast every week is we bring you this podcast completely free from the sexy MFers over Braw Beard Oils. And the way it works is each and every week I get an opportunity to sit down with MMA fighters, wrestlers, actors, comedians, tattooists, barbers, gorgeous beard models, and so much more. And we get to learn a little bit about them, and we get to talk about what's going on in the world. It's nice, relaxed, and it's a cracking way to spend 40 minutes of your week. And don't forget, if you like this show, here's what you need to do. Do me a wee favor, head over to Braw Beard Oils on YouTube, follow it on social media as well, and you can check out the podcast completely free in its audio form on Spotify, iTunes, and everywhere else. And if you're really feeling sexy, why not head over to Braw Beard Oils and get yourself some boof, some merch, including, check this motherfucker out. Look at this. It's a broadcast t-shirt. It's my face in a t-shirt. Finally. Fuck you, Dad. Right. You can make sure to check that out. It's so much more. They've got loads of brilliant stuff over there as we're heading into the summer. Grab yourself some stuff and help support this podcast and keep it coming each and every day. Right. Now, this is an absolute treat for me because I've been dying to get an opportunity to sit down with our guest today for absolute ages. We've kind of worked together and we've known each other. Like, it's kind of, we'll get into the nitty and gritty. It's not my dad I'm bringing on, don't worry. We've known each other a good while and we're going to get an opportunity to sit down and talk with him. He is a multi-talented individual, man. There is so much going on. He's a writer, he's a director, he's a comedian, he's an actor, and so much more. And now he is an author. We're going to get an opportunity to sit down and talk to him about his, well, very honest, open, thought-provoking book. We're going to get an opportunity to have a sit down and talk with him about that today. So I'm very excited. Now, it's the first time I've done this. So first time I've ever had someone on that's almost got an alias, but we'll get into that in a wee second. Ladies and gentlemen, he's also known as Jerry Taylor, the actor. But today we're also talking to him as Chris Taylor, and he's with us today. Let me just bring him in. How you doing?
How's it going, Billy? You well?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. That was a weird one. Just as I was coming in to like land on that, I thought like it's Chris Taylor, it's Jerry Taylor. How do you manage to juggle that, man?
Mate, I struggle with every single day still to this day. So during lockdown, some folk lost their jobs, some folk lost their homes. I lost my fucking name, mate. So
what?
So right, as an actor on Spotlight, I don't know if you need to do this yourself, mate.
I'm familiar with Spotlight. You're joking.
No, so you have to register your own name in Spotlight. And during lockdown, I went, well, there's no fucking work. I'm not going to pay my Spotlight fees.
Why would you? Okay.
Exactly. So I let my membership go. And some guy on Love Island was called Chris Taylor and took the name, mate, to a Love Island contestant that was only on it for about 3 weeks or something like that. And I was like...
bloody glad. I'm bloody glad.
It gets worse, bro. Gets worse. So, I couldn't change it. I wanted to change it to maybe Christian or something that was a bit similar.
Right, okay.
Get away with it. And so what happened, I get signed up by an agent during lockdown down in England, Joe Hole. And I was like, during lockdown, so I've got signed up. So that's why I had to get on Spotlight, change my name. So I picked Jerry instead because my hero was Jerry Lewis, the old American comedian who was really hanging with Dean Martin. But now it's just come out that apparently it was a bit one of these historic crime type things. And I'm like, great, I've just just changed my name. So, and then I thought I'll just say it was about the other Jerry Lewis, but then I forgot he pumped his wee cousin, didn't he? So it's
can we not say it was Jerry Seinfeld or something? Jerry Seinfeld, or
it was all along. It was Seinfeld. That was it, mate.
I remember you saying. Oh my god! Because I remember. Did you ever, the actor James Kirk, Scottish actor? He's in a lot of things. He was in 24, and I think he pops up in Scott Squad and other bits and bobs. How can I describe?
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was about to say, how can I describe him without being unkind? Wee ginger, wee bit chubby sometimes. That's about the best I've got. But I remember me and him did a kids' TV show years and years ago, and he had to call himself Alan Bay James. Like the name he gave was. So for the whole thing, it was like, morning AJ, and it just really let it go. What a world to get involved with.
That's crazy.
Right. So we'll go with, are we going to go with Chris or are we going to go with Jerry today?
Let's go with Chris. Everyone knows me, Chris, but if it's on a poster or that, it's got to be Jerry. So yeah, especially if I'm talking about my writing. My writing's always still under Chris because I can still do that. It's just the performance.
There's so much to cover, man. I mean, obviously, you've been it's like I said at the start. You're from the breed of Scottish talent that you need to be, and because you work in the creative industries in Scotland, not many people get to wear one hat and stay relevant and stay in regular employment. And you have done that because you've been a writer, an actor, director, producer, and we've got to get to the producing side of it because you've put your money where your mouth is a couple of times as well, and we talked about that in the past.
Man.
So where did all this come from? Were you always, like, since the early days back in the youth, was it youth theatre or school? Where did the hunger to become a performer start for you? Where did all that kick off, mate?
I was always an absolute laugh horn, mate. I just loved making people laugh. Even as a wee kid, like, I remember doing shit magic tricks in the living room with all my family and just try to get laughs out of it. And I actually we went to a place called Seaton Sands. I've just remembered this, actually. We went, it was like, honestly, mate, the bin fire of all fucking holiday destinations, right? Just the outskirts of Edinburgh. And it was when I first started smoking and everything like that. And I think I was, here, mate, I was 11, right, when I started smoking. Nice. That was terrible. Nice. So they were like, there's a talent show, and I was like, fuck, I'm going up for this now. Freddie Starr, back in the day when I was a kid, man, it was like Freddie Starr and all that. Looking back now, obviously, you can see that there was maybe wasn't all as it seemed to him at times, but as a kid, I just loved his material. Now, I didn't realise how blue his material was, so I've just went up onto this stage, right, as a wee 11-year-old boy, and I've told this joke that he used to tell about his gardener Robin, that he would do a sniff test, and the whole joke is he ends up sniffing his chloroform and he falls asleep and he wakes up, and the punchline goes, "You all right?" And he went, "Aye, that chloroform gives you a sore arse, doesn't it?" Now, I've said this at 11, I just remember the crowd just going for a second and then get the biggest laugh, mate, and it was absolutely brilliant. And I thought, oh yes, this is what I want to do. And I joined the youth theatre, and I just kind of pottered about doing stuff. I never really, I think at a young age, you want to do it, but you don't believe it's something that you can do. And then obviously I get mixed in with the wrong crowd when I was about 16, taking drugs, eckies, coke, the lot. Long story short, I was either kill myself or join the army. So joined the army. I did that, came out the army and thought, right, I want to make a career out of this. And I wrote a play called Statistics based on my time in the army. And I went to the Market Inn and I just said to Billy Thompson at the Market Inn, I know you've got a room up the stairs. I've got no money whatsoever. Can I have it for a week and put a play on? And you can open your bar and if anyone turns up, you might get a turn. And he just went, do you know what? Aye, you can. I don't know if he just admired the fact that I just come in, just tried my luck. So once I had the venue, I went, I've got to do this now. So the play was called Statistics. It was all about basically coming out of the army and feeling like you're a statistic all the time, and being working class as well. Because a lot of my work's based on my new company's called Working Class Productions. My podcast called Podcast WC, and it's been giving back as well. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here.
No, you go right ahead, mate. You go right ahead.
Where was I even going? What was my?
You were talking about the podcast, coming out of the army, doing the show the Market Inn.
Aye, so came out of the army, done all that. I wrote that's what I was writing about. And then we put it on and it sold out in a week. We actually had, so it was all set in a pub, so I set it, everyone was sat round the actors and it was all happening amongst them. I wanted it to be like the cinema, mate, because all my pals, we wouldn't go to theatre, especially me, because I'll be honest, theatre bores the shit out of me unless it's something it's going to grasp me like the cinema. So that's why when I'm doing a show, try and make a trailer for it, even if it's for theatre. So we had guns, like with blanks. I had to phone the police station, say, look, we're firing blanks in the Market Inn. Probably a few blanks fired in there over the years. And just really going for them. And don't worry, this is the Braw Cast one, darling. This isn't West FM. Mrs. just turned to me, she's looking at me as if she thinks I'm live on West FM.
He's not live on West FM. Sorry, don't worry about it. Just go. She's like, that's an interesting way for that Billy Kirkwood to hand in his P45.
I know. She just said I've been sitting here the whole time trying not to fart. I love you. You
do what you want, your hoose hen. Just you go for it. Just you go for it.
Thanks very much.
She's been nursing me as well because of these shingles, so she's knackered too, man.
Oh, Jesus.
So the play went on, sold out. We actually had folks sitting in the window ledges looking back, man. we had about 80 people crammed in. Now, if we're doing a show, it's 50 seated because it's got to be, well, legal, basically. And then it just kind of grew from there. And then I wrote another play called Labour of Change, and then Sell a Secret. And then I wasn't making much money. The shows were selling out, but you're getting 40, 50 folk in every night for a week at the market. And once you've paid your actors, and sometimes we didn't get paid and it was on a profit share. And that's a big mistake I've made at times, mate, because you lose friends and stuff. And I've made mistakes saying, look, I'll pay if there's a profit, and then there's no profit because I've fucked up budget-wise. But trust me, see, when it comes to it, I've lost more money on my shows than anyone else. I'll tell you that. And that's been a lot. I even sold my medal. So I was in the army and I had a medal for serving in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
And I needed money to pay off some of the cast and stuff like that. So I sold my medal online. I think I only got about 70 quid for it. And it was absolutely horrendous feeling because any of my mates in the army, you would actually get a doing for something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was broken. I had no money. I had nothing. And I thought, right, I'll just throw it into it. And that show made a loss. So it wasn't until a few years later a good friend of mine, Gareth, actually sourced it and brought it back for me. So I do have that medal again. Yeah, man.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, so it went on a journey, just like the rest of us. So I've got that and I keep that safe, even though my memories of the army weren't brilliant. But for me, I earned that fucker. Do you know what I mean? So I keep that out for my boy when he's older. That's
exactly how to look at it, man, isn't it? It's like, you know, we think all the trials and tribulations gone through life, and it's these wee bumps in the roadmap of our lives, isn't it? You've got to crash into them.
That's it.
We've got to talk.
Love that.
But you managed to get it's one of the things, like, so you were working specifically kind of inertia around about that time, but your work's getting attention, man. You're starting to get, you know, break out into Glasgow, and it's and I'm not having to go at anyone that is watching that is specifically just works in inertia. I'm a proud Ayrshire myself, of course, but it's nice to get a couple of miles under your trainers. Do you know what I mean? And it makes you better. It makes you better for coming home. Is always the way I put at it. You know what I mean? Because coming home special.
It really is, man. It really is. And when you're staying here, it's like, I love Ayrshire crowds, and it's my home. And like, if I was to get a choice, if somebody says any panto in the land, I would pick the Gaiety Theatre every single day, no matter the money, no matter anything, because to me that's my home, and I love that place. Yeah. But yeah, it did get to a point I was like, I see myself as a bit of a Z-lister in Ayrshire, and I was like, I'd like to become maybe a Z-lister somewhere else as well. So this all came about. I remember I was sitting and I just thought, right, there's no point in keep doing my own shows, for the reason is nobody knows who the fuck I am. If I phone up a Glasgow theatre and went, I've got this show, it's been selling out in Ayrshire, they go, where? And I go in a pub, they go, oh, right, okay. There's no credentials there, and I got that. I was like, how do I get these credentials? So I put on Facebook one day, I'd never seen the show, but and I'm saying it was my favourite show. I knew I loved this show before I'd even seen it. Singing I'm Not a Billy, He's a Tim.
Yeah.
And I thought, right, I wonder who's got the rights to this. So I just put it up on Facebook. I went, I've got no money. I literally had nothing. I was staying in my auntie's spare bedroom, mate. I was broken. Nothing at all. I was like, put on Facebook, who's got the rights to Billy and Tim? And Wilma Stark, a really well-known writer in Scotland who used to write for Take the High Road. She's an award-winning writer in Italy, all over the place. Lovely, absolutely love her. She lives over in Arran. And she actually messaged and says, look, Des Dillion holds the rights, and I think you two might get on. Hold on, I'll email and ask if I can pass your details on. So she's messaged along the lines of, I think you two might hit it off. Can I give the email? So I emailed him and said, can I get the rights to Billy and Tim? Just asked, right? And it's like, he must have been going, fuck, who's this guy? He says, no, I'm sorry, I've got the rights to Billy and Tim, I'm the producer, I take it out. I'm going, shit, man, right, okay, fair dues. So then I just went, have you got any other scripts that I can take out? And that's the difference between, I think, everyone else that had messaged them. They all went, oh, because everyone tried to get the rights. But I was the first. I think I was one of the first that went, well, what about your other work? Because if you obviously can write a great script like that. So he sent me a script called, quote, Cunt. That was the name of the script, C-U-N-T, right? And it basically is about, as soon as I started reading it, man, I just fell in love with it. It's a feminism play. Right. And it starts off this girl, she says the word cunt in prison, and not in prison, in court. She's like, oh, some cunt just said this, and the judge is like, what did you say? And she went, I just said some cunt. It's like, that's what I think. Some cunt, that cunt comes over the hill, blah blah. I don't picture a big vagina coming over the hill. I'm just saying some cunt.
That's like the Rangers fan that went out on TV for an entire day. Remember when he's down in Manchester? He's going, it's really nice here, but some cunts will just come and ruin it. And this went out 5 times on national TV in a day because some English producer didn't even catch it. That's
brilliant. Oh, I need to see that. But it's claiming the word back for women. So basically, the word cunt came from a woman. From I think it was Kunta Candy. Was this feminist kind of years back? I'm not going to misquote it all because Des has written it beautifully, and it actually traces the word cunt where it came from, and it was a female power word. It was their word, and it was taken away from them over the years to mean obviously something else. And the play, it starts off manic. I played a Ned in it that ends up getting electrocuted, and if you leave inside a house with somebody's lamp, it's mental, man. But then the message behind it is about mental health and all that, and I fell in love with it, and I was like, right, I'll take the rights to it. And I says, mate, I'll produce this. And he's like, brilliant. And he says, come and meet me. So he lives away up out in the middle of nowhere, and he says, we'll meet you halfway, I'll meet you in Girvan. So I literally had no money. I went and sold my telly at cash converters, and I managed to get enough money to hire a van because I couldn't get the trains, and that was some reason I had to get a van. I can't remember what it was. So I got this wee van for Arnold Clark, and I drove to meet Des, and we went in this chippy. So see, when you get into Girvan, you turn around to the left, there's this wee chippy where the wee kind of the toilets and that way.
Right.
And he had a chicken supper, I had a fish supper. No, I had a chip roll. I pretended I wasn't as hungry because I knew it was skint. So I had a chip roll. But obviously I offered to pay for Des's because I didn't want him thinking I was just this skint guy that was chancing his luck.
Yeah.
But I was. Basically, I knew that I could produce. I knew I could put on a show with no money because that's what I was used to doing. So I jumped right into this. And then straight away, we hit it off brilliantly. And he actually said to me when we were eating, he says, I think you would make a good Tim one day. And I think he just said, say this one line, and I just said it, and he went, do you want to be the understudy for Tim? I need someone in for the pavilion in a couple of weeks. And I was like,
holy shit.
Aye, man. I was like, that's brilliant. And that was my audition. So we agreed that I would produce Cunt and he would cast me as the understudy. So I went in and played the understudy. I had to rehearse as understudy away from the actual cast. And then I went and watched them do 4 shows at the pavilion, thinking I would love that one day. And then whatever happened, I don't want to get too much into it because the actor that was playing Tim, a really nice guy, unfortunately, whatever happened with him and the director at the time, Tim then became a vacant part, and within a couple of days I became Tim after watching it. And the sequel was on a couple of weeks later, so I went straight into rehearsals for that. Became Tim, did my first ever show at the pavilion, going from the market inn and the gate to the pavilion theatre. I was like, fucking hell, man. So we smashed it. We didn't get the audiences in. They called it Billy and Tim and the Wee Glasgow Ghost at first.
Aye, because Neil was in it. Because I remember I came and saw the show. I came and saw the show because I was kind of like, this is very it's an amazing show, but I know it did have that name, and a lot of people did kind of go, I think, why isn't it called? I mean, I don't know. I understand they might.
I think people thought it was maybe a rip-off or something like that. People thought it something tried.
Look, but it was a great show. Great show.
Yeah, it's a farce. The first one's all about the history and then showing that relationship and how the relationship can change. But this one was just total farce where they make a bet and Neil plays the ghost absolutely brilliantly. He's back again. We're at the pavilion again this September with it. Yeah. This is the kind of farewell show for a few years because we've been touring it for ages.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I ended up getting the rights to Billy and Tim as well. And I called it Singin I'm Not a Billy, He's a Tim 2 because if it's not broken, don't fix it. Stick the 2 on the end, keep the branding. And it started to sell. We were off on tour and it sold out. We just did the Armadillo in September last year, man. And it's in my book. I remember I stood in the Armadillo stage and went, I've fucking done this, man. I've done this. I'm producing this. I've just directed it. I was in the market inn 10 years ago. The 40 odd people sitting on window ledges. I'm doing this, man, and I'm actually making a wee bit of money off it. It wasn't a huge amount. It was enough to cover everything that I'd lost over lockdown because I was so close, mate. And then I lost a fortune, man. Absolute fortune. I just started a new company, so I didn't have a tax return from the year before. for my new company name, so I got no money. But anyway, we got through it. We all got through it together, and so that's pretty much how I got the rights with Des. And then when I did Billy and Tim in the Pavilion, Ian Gordon, who owns the Pavilion, liked my performance, and he invited me to do a couple of shows with him. So I think I was in about 3 or 4 good shows up at the Pavilion, and then he asked me to do his panto. And then that kind of got my name out there a bit as well.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot. And then I think getting out there and showing that I can produce, because I know what I'm like, mate, right? I think sometimes because I don't take myself seriously online, I think a lot of people maybe think that I'm not organised, or I like to play it stupid sometimes, but don't mistake my...
Don't give it away. That's what we all do. Don't give it away.
But I think some people are really shocked. Like, some people would say, I was backstage once and somebody came backstage, I wouldn't say who it was, they're a lovely person, but they just went, so who directed it? I was like, it was me. And I was like, what? But the producer? I was like, that was me. But and then their personality changed around me and they liked me more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just thought, wow, this industry's different, isn't it? You've got to kind of prove yourself first. I always felt I had that imposter syndrome, but I kind of put that on myself. Do you know what I mean? You've probably felt it as well, mate, coming from Ayrshire, and look what you've done now. You're flying, man. And I mean, I'm so proud of you, man, and I mean that. See, for an Ayrshire boy, to hear you on the radio all the time, see what you're doing all the time, and actually being a nice guy as well, that helps too.
Well, that's very kind of you, mate. If you're a Z lister in Ayrshire, I don't know where I am. I'm in negative numbers in that bad boy. I'm just happy to keep the lights on, mate. That's always my attitude. But it is a thing. Like I think sometimes you can get, and I'm sure you get it in Glasgow. You get folk that are too scared to leave Glasgow. You get folk that are too scared to leave Edinburgh and everywhere around. And I mean, and it's also getting people to engage with what you do, and that's one of the big things. I mean, obviously, we talked very quickly there during lockdown. I mean, obviously, you've got such love in your heart for the Gaiety Theatre. I mean, we've got some amazing theatres here in Ayrshire that have got a real legacy, do you know what I mean, amongst helping performers. Yeah. And I know that you were helping you and Fraser, of course. You've done loads of things down there. But I know you did your own online chat show down that neck of the woods. Man.
It was the Gaiety guests. The Gaiety were great. They get some funding, and the new freelancers were struggling. So I'm always on their case. So they were straight, and they were like, right, they were a good help. And I came up with a couple of ideas. One of them was the Gaiety guests, and we did a couple of interviews during lockdown, which was good. Yep. And what else did we do? Well, actually, mate, do you know one of the biggest things I did in lockdown was inspired by you on your show? Well, right. Something new in your show. Do you see with the cash? My God, what's it called? The
cash register thing.
Cash register, right. Yes. So I was listening to it one day and I went, imagine this happened. And I thought, fuck, I'm going to write a wee monologue. So I wrote a monologue up in my spare room. I made it look like a wee loft type thing. And there was this guy, and he's wearing this funeral outfit, right? And he's broken, and he's just crying.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Did you see it, man?
I've seen it. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh, cheers, man. Well, your show inspired it, man. And do you know that ended up? It was a kind of, Jeremy at the Gate is brilliant, and he's like, what kind of stuff you need? And I said, I've just got a wee phone, and then I just used a lamp in my room, and I try to angle it to try and get shadows. So he sent me a ring light and everything, and he went, look, if you can, so I sent the monologue to him, and he said, look, we'll pay you for that, and we'll put it up. If it gets some hits, that's nice. Do you know what get more hits than every single video in the timeline at that point put together did? I was so shocked, man. Do you know why? Because it was dark, man, and see that lockdown feeling. People just wanted... People were into darkness.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's, but you know, I think it kind of reminded people that we were all having those kind of feelings, because you became like, and I'm not going to get too much into the psychology of like a lockdown. We've been there, done it. We're out now licking banisters and all that type of thing. So we're getting back out there. Do you know what I mean? But no, I think it kind of connected with lots of people, especially when it was, there was the kind of funeral backstory and lots of other things going about it as well. It put people, I think it connected folk, and that's why I thought it was so fucking brilliant, because I watched it going, I've been that guy. So I totally get it. And absolutely fantastic. Just before we move on to the book, and we'll move on to the book in just a wee second, I know that you have literally put your money where your mouth is with the shows and you've done in the past. Am I right in thinking there was some wedding money they got? And I hate saying this if it was there was some wedding money put on the line at one point.
Aye, man, that was
true?
God. So during lockdown, that was obviously with my ex, and God bless. I don't mean any harm. That wedding did not go ahead because fuck me, COVID saved us both there, man. Because we're away both doing our own thing. Both, I'm happier than I've ever been before. My Mrs. Megan, she's just brilliant, man. Just life. She's nuts like me, man. We can be broken together at times, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I definitely need her anyway. Don't know if you need me all the time, eh? It's $1,000,000%. So
but it
she
showed the
doesn't take any of my
passion
shit either, that my mum says. So. But I sold all the money that was saved up for the wedding. I had to go and pay the rent during lockdown. I couldn't work at all with the youth theatre. I got desperate, mate. Like, honestly, I'm not even going to lie. I was out working my bakery at one point, helping out. But all that went, all it gone. There's what other times there is? Sorry, I know what time you're talking about. When I first went to take the Billy and Tim tour out.
That one, yes.
Yeah. Aye, man. So I said to Des, so going back, remember I was meant to take Cunt out for him?
Yeah.
So I was meant to take it out 1 September, but then Billy and Tim 1 was happening, and Des went, you need to go out with that, but you need to you're producing Cunt as well. And I went, I don't really have the time to do it. And I was panicking because I was like, what have I bitten off here? So it never happened, and me and Des fell out, right? And he actually wrote, race you to the delete button, boom, and then blocked me, right? And we didn't speak for about 1.5 years, 2 years maybe.
Right.
And then the Pavilion called me to cast me in a show that Des Dillion had written. So I've just messaged him and says, look, Des, just to let you know that the Pavilion's offered me this gig in one of your plays. And he wrote, who the fuck did put you forward? And I was like, cheers, man. And he went, and then he added me again. And then we talked it all out. I think he knew that I was full of company money back then. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to get that show out. I had great intentions. So he gave me another shot, man. I says, look, can I take Billy and Tim 2 out? And he's like, yeah, go for it. Because I knew one had been going out. It's the most successful touring show of Scottish theatre in recent times, mate, and it doesn't get spoken about. Yeah, there's a snobbery. People don't understand the message. They see the strips and they just go, oh, it's a bit glorifying. No, it's not. If you come and watch these shows, it couldn't be further from the truth. The government should be putting this show on for schools. If they really want to beat sectarianism, or try to, they'll never beat it. But to do something, get this out in the schools, get it to the prisons, get every single player. I would take this show to Hampden Park for free to show to any player that wants to come and watch it, because they can't come and watch the show because they'll just get hounded. But anyway, it's brilliant, right? Where was I going with that? I got passionate.
No, I was just saying it just shows the passion that you've got for stuff, mate. We're two working class boys talking here, and you've got to put you've got to put the money where your mouth is, whether you've got it or no. Do you know what I mean?
That was the money. So I ended up saying, right, I'll take this tour out. I'm going to do Billy and Tim 2. And I knew I needed a good few grand to pay the cast, to pay all the marketing. So there was wedding money there, and I just went, I'm using it. And I just did it. And thank fuck the tour sold out. Oh man. The only place it didn't sell out was in Arbroath. Obviously, and it was a totally different, it wasn't a football crowd there, they were just here to see a play. But everywhere else. So then it went to the Armadillo, and the rest's kind of history, as they say.
Well, I'd say it's worked out, man. I'd say it's worked out. That's the thing. There's so much to talk about, Chris. There's so much to talk about. But let's get to the book. Now. I stole a wee picture of the book from Amazon, and for some reason, this StreamYard thing that we put out broadcast on brings it up in a really weird way. So there we are. There's your book.
I love it, man. I like that. So I had a different cover for it, and then it was like, I couldn't get it fitting when I was doing it on it, and I went, just design your own, man. So I just went on the design your own, and I quite like it, man, because do you like my subtitle?
I love your subtitle. So if anyone's listening to this in audio form, Chrissy's book is Me, Myself and Weed, brackets, I was too stoned to think of a subtitle.
Man.
I love the cover, because the cover's kind of like, remember the books you get at school, like in English, and clearly
textbooks,
Yeah, they'd been there a while. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, this book's got a different cover in the shop, miss. Well, this is the fucking cover of this book. Sit down and read it.
So, it's huge and all.
Yeah, you get a first edition of Catcher in the Rye or something when you were at secondary school, you know. So tell us about the book, man. Obviously, you've hinted at some of the struggles that you've had, but the book's a lot more than that. It's tell us a bit about the book.
I started off. I've always wanted to. I've always written plays. I've always wanted to write a book, and I was going to write fiction. I was going to write. Well, what do you know? So for 20 years, it's no secret. Like I smoked weed for 20 years. About that since I came out of the army. Sometimes a lot more than what I would do. Sometimes not as much, but I've always smoked it. And I thought I'll write a book about stoner stories and stuff. And I was trying to write fiction. And I thought all my stories that I know in real life are much better than this. And I started writing when I went, I can't do that to my mates. I can't do this. And then one of the chapters I was writing, I was like, this is actually about me, man. I need to find out why I smoke weed. So I started writing all these chapters about. It started off as like, I'm going to try and find out why I've got these issues. And as I started writing every chapter, it was never about weed. It was actually about drink. So as I started writing this book, it was almost became this kind of therapy, and going, shit, man. And right at the end, I say in the book that I'm an alcoholic. And I actually remember writing that bit steaming out of my head and knowing. And it was the first time I admitted it, because everyone was honest in my book. I don't hold back. I don't drag anyone through the coals apart from myself, because a lot of it's been my fault. But it just ended up being like an autobiography. Now, don't get me wrong, it sounds so egotistical, I think, when I say autobiography, but it's not like, here, I'm Chris, Jerry, Dale, whatever the fuck you want to call me. I'm famous. Look at that. It's not.
Yeah.
I wanted to reach out to other people out there that have maybe been abused, because it was abuse in the army for me, or if they've got alcohol problems, that drink, weed problems, any problems. See, at first when somebody says, if I can help one person, I'd be happy. I'd be like, fuck off. Don't talk shit. I want to make money off my book. But then I did get that one message from someone. It was a woman. She was an elderly woman as well, churchgoer, and she just sent me this beautiful message of how she'd been struggling for years, and to read Matt in her monologue was like reading her own, and it's really helped in it to know that other people, and it broke me, man. And then the sales didn't become, of course the sales are important, of course they're hard, but they're not as important as some of the things that people were saying. It was beautiful. Obviously you get the negative stuff as well, like people that don't even read the book. I've had some trolls online, mate, saying some nasty stuff like, is he drinking? I bet he's done. I bet he's not said this. It's like, well, he has. I've said everything in this book, and again, it's so folk will stop dragging me through the coals, because I've made mistakes, Billy, and I'm the most self-deprecating person on this planet, and I mean that. But I've got to move on from my mistakes, and other folk have to as well, man, because I'm proud of how I've dealt with things after, and you can't have any regrets anymore. You just got to move on and go on with things.
You can't stay in that space, man. You can't stay in that space. It's like tying an anchor to your arsehole. You're not going to move, and you know what I mean.
I love that.
I've never understood it, because you'll just stay there. You'll never move forward. And you know, I always say the same thing to people, where they always go like, I've got to work, I've got to do this. It's like, well, you know, I've never seen a tombstone with a cash machine on it. I've never seen, you know, a removal van going behind a hearse. Never seen any of those things. Life's for living, man. Life's for living. And
Billy, will you promise me one thing?
What's that?
See when you write your autobiography, please make the title "Tie an Anchor to My Arsehole," please.
Well, you know, I'm struggling to think of a name for my friend's show this year, so that might be it. You know, and I'm only a few chapters into the book, because like an arsehole, I bought it on Kindle. Don't ask me. I've got ADHD and I'm dyslexic. The fact that I'm managing to read anything is a miracle. I'm waiting for. I need the audiobook, Chris. And like,
mate, everyone's telling me to do this. I'm going to get the audiobook done, definitely. Brilliant. And it'll be a bit different, because I'll add on as I go as well, as I'm talking in the audiobook. But listen, it took me 8 years to fucking write it, mate. So take as long as you need to read it, honestly. And I appreciate you buying it, bud. I do.
Oh no, but no, it's and I know that I was literally talking to my missus, who's a school librarian. I was telling her a little bit about it as well, and she's going to go, "This is the type of thing like our kids need to read," or it's because, like you say, like no point are you like you're not kicking down, you're not kicking at anyone when you're doing it. It's a story about your journey, and like you say, we've all made mistakes, man. Don't get me wrong, like we all make those mistakes that when you're walking down the street on a perfectly normal day, you suddenly go, oh, for fuck's sake. And it's something that happened 15 years ago. You know, we all make those mistakes, man. But
yeah,
again, you're kind of walking through the space. It's almost like you're unpacking it as you go.
Yeah, exactly. And I even say at the start of the book, it's like, look, I'm not going to go back and edit any of this.
Yeah.
Some folk have accused me of that's laziness because I just didn't want to get it proofread, right? There might be some truth in that. I don't know. But I just went, you know what? I want to see the mistakes because it was my first ever book. And I want people to know that you can put your own book out there.
Yeah,
so I mean, you can do it. It took me 8 years, but see, I've started writing my next book already, and I've already got the story, I've got it all done, and as soon as I've finished doing what I need to do over the next couple of weeks, that's my next focus, and I'll have that done in a couple of months.
Oh, fucking brilliant.
It's called My Psycho.
My Psycho. Holy
My Psycho.
Shit.
It's dark, man. It's all fiction, and I've been dying to write fiction.
This is that fiction book that you've spoken about. Yeah,
this is what I want to do now, but it's a totally different story, and I've got... Sometimes you just got to find that perfect story, and I found it in my head. Yeah. Everything's there, and I've never had that before, and I just need to put it down now. I can't wait. But Me, Myself, and Weed is on sale on Amazon. It's been doing well, man. I was quite surprised. Though.
I think it's actually a hangover from lockdown. I mean that in a positive way, because like I think folk are like looking to engage in different ways now. I mean, you're saying about people accusing you of not having edited. Have you ever read a Harry Potter book? There's a couple of fucking pages that are just describing a broom. Everybody calm down. If you're telling me J.K. Rowling got that edited, what are you fucking talking to? There's one chapter, I'm sure most of it's describing a fucking wall. So she can settle down. But the whole thing is I think it is about people kind of reconnecting. Like even here with Braw Cast, you know what I mean? We started doing this when people kind of get out. Remember that bit where old grannies would see you in the middle of Tesco's and they would go, "Oh, fucking hell," and run away because they were convinced we were all full of diseases. That's what that kind of came about. So I think, and the fact that it's a Scottish voice, but it's not just a Scottish voice. You know what I mean? Because one of the things that got me about your writing, and I'm not sucking up. One of the things that got me was it kind of transcends where it is. Like you can talk to anybody. It's quite the international language of the story kind of would connect with anybody. That's what I thought. That
means a lot, mate. That really does mean a lot. I'm glad to hear that, and thank you for saying it as well.
So we got to talk about. I want to dip just quickly back into the performance side of it, because obviously you're still hungry as a performer as well. What's the plans? Because obviously we know you've been. You know, you've done pantos around Scotland. What's on the horizon? You and Fraser are maybe doing some more work together. I know you like to do shows together.
Yeah, we just did a wee impromptu kind of hosting gig last week at the Gate. It was brilliant fun. And the reason we're not doing it, there's loads of rumours that we're falling out and stuff over the years, but we love this because we just play on it. But because they're still talking, but he's been that busy and I've been that busy. We've been doing our own thing, which is great. And see, when we do come back together to do our show, we've went away and learned so much. So the next show we're going to do is going to be, we know it's going to be dynamite. There's a few plans along the way. We've got a couple of ideas, so we're always talking. When me and Fraser are on the phone, it's for 2-3 hours at a time. Every time he phones me, he's either on the toilet or in the bath. Or if I phone him, I always catch him at the wrong time, or the right time, whatever. So me and Fraser will be doing some work. I've got Chip Fat the musical we've got with the Youth Theatre coming up just now. That's I've written our version of Grease, the Scottish version of Grease. Instead of the pink ladies and the T-birds, we've got the pink laddies and the T-birds with a U. So the women are the more the women are the tougher ones, and the guys are quite all groomed and Spice Boys. So it's all about that. So that's all kind of done around the non-binary kind of theme for this year. Because we've got a few of the kids in there that are non-binary, so we thought, let's fucking celebrate this for them. So the main character in it, she has just come out as non-binary, so I've wrote this in. It's all about her, this show. So she's actually playing out her real life journey on stage as well. God. So just helping her celebrate it, man, that's all.
Definitely.
And then I've got Billy and Tim coming up. I'm playing Tim, obviously, at the Pavilion 7th, 8th, 9th, I think 8th, 9th, 10th, I think, at the Pavilion. Round about that time, I should really know this, double check. That tickets are on sale for that now. Panto-wise...
When is that? When is that again? Sorry. When is that? Is in what month?
September this year. Round about the 8th, 9th, 10th of September. There's 4 shows. 9th, 10th.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's it.
That's that, mate. And there's 2 shows on the Saturday, and it'll be the last time Billy and Tim 2 will be seen for a few years. We will be bringing the first one out again, but we don't know when. We're just going to put it to bed for a couple of years. Folk will be choking for it again in a few years, like I say. And what else? Wait, you see this, but watch out for me being the Ayrshire Tatty on South Ayrshire Council's website soon.
Damn it, that's who got that gig. That's the gig I Damn it, that's the one everyone was talking about. The fucking Tom Hardy's with their Bond. I wanted the Tatty gig, Chris. I wanted the Tatty gig.
Mate, I knew that you'd come a close second for that one, so I didn't want to come out and say it, but apparently...
I think I was 5th or 6th, to be honest, but okay.
When they say, mate, when it comes to a potato, it's all in the eyes, isn't it?
Yeah, come on. Yeah. Well, actually, that's what I wanted to talk to you just really quickly, is your TikTok. I fucking love your TikTok. Your TikTok cheers me up, man. I fucking love your TikTok.
Mate, do you know why? Right, I wanted to speak to someone like this because I was scared I was going to annoy comedians, because I know I'm just telling jokes that I've heard before, but I'm not trying to steal jokes. I hope people know that. That's why I do the wee stupid things at the end. It's just dad jokes, because I'm scared one day somebody's going to go, that's my joke. But I just tell jokes that I hear. Folk mail me them all the time now because of my TikTok. But I'm so glad that you like them, man, because I love doing them, and it's making folk laugh. You're like me, mate. You love to make folk laugh. And I've seen you, man. You're a great comedian, and you can tell that you enjoy being up there. Some comedians, and this isn't having a go, they love getting the laughs more than seeing the people laugh. And I can see that you love to see it because you smile back, all this kind of stuff. But that's just an man.
It's one of these things, man. Like, and I'm sure you'll identify it. I still love performing, and I mean, I'm like you. I've written, produced, I've directed, done all these other things just to keep things going, because I don't wait for the phone to ring, and I'm always a big believer in nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, how did I get Billy Kirkwood on a stage? Nobody ever does that, and I fucking wish there was. You know, I wish I was like.
Why don't we do a panel together this year if I'm not doing one?
Let's talk. Let's fucking talk, man.
I'll know by April. I'm waiting on a couple of offers. There's maybe one in England, but I'm not too keen on travelling down south. But if I'm not doing panto anywhere this year, we'll do one together in Ayrshire. Fucking mate, imagine.
Let's talk. You hear that, Fraser? You hear that, Fraser?
He's gone somewhere else. I know where he's gone this year, but I'm not allowed to say. But me and you should do something, mate.
That's where he's going, Arbroath. Arbroath.
I will definitely talk on that, mate. I'm well up for working with you on that. Get Bex involved as well, because you did. You did. Is it the Poisoned Apple Productions that you did?
Yeah, we did a couple of panels. You know, our whole thing was and a shared theme, and I know there'll be folk listening going, what the fuck are they talking about? But it was about doing something local that wasn't, and I'm not having to go to any of the big panto companies. If they do want to get in touch, it's billy@billykirkwoodcomedy.com. But it was about doing something local. I mean, we were bringing in performers that had never set foot on stage. We were bringing, and this will sound familiar to you, Chris, bringing in guys that had done training and didn't know what to do next, couldn't get a credit, couldn't get on a stage again because they finished college, and they don't tell you, oh, here's a good place to email, here's something. If you don't take the initiative, you're just kind of dropped, and it's like, well, not everybody can take the initiative, you know, and sometimes you can be blindness by it. So we did that, and we would charge, you know, as low a ticket cost as we could. And I personally would go to Booker's with someone else's account card and buy the fruit shoots. Yeah, and I don't know how you get one. It's like when you walk into Costco and they go, can I see your ID? It's like, I'm not going to shoplift, you prick. You know, it's...
the fucking never put any out in your pocket.
Yeah, I'd always be pretending, oh yes, I'm discount blinds, I'm just here to get like fucking £400 worth of fruit shoots, so it'll be 2 minutes. One of the big things was always, I fucking loved it, man. Well, I always loved that. I've always loved kids, performing for kids and stuff as well. But one of the big things is, even during lockdown, I remember when there was no gigs and we were doing stuff on Zoom, and you'll know what it was like with the stuff you were doing on obviously online for the Gatey and all that, you'd be forgiven for going. And I'm sure plenty of people have been in this position. You'd be forgiven for going, right, that's it. I'm going to go and get a fucking proper job. I'm going to go and get trained. I'm going to go do something like that. And I can still remember that I did a gig on a green screen somewhere, Susie McCabe's green screen thing in Glasgow. and it was the first time I got to stand up, and there was a huge monitor and all that, and we got to do it. And I remember going, fuck, I'm still in love with this. God damn it. God damn it. It would have just been easier just to be a gas fitting engineer or something.
I totally see, especially for, and I don't want to keep harping on about it, but it is my thing. So working class, for anyone to break through this ceiling in the industry, if you're working class, that's why I'm even more proud of what I've been able to do, mate, because you'll know yourself, and being an air circuit, it's fucking tough. That industry looks like miles away when you're trying to make it. So what I'll say to anyone out there is, it's a lot smaller than you fucking think, the industry. It can take a lot of work or a little work. Do not give up. If you know you're good enough, if you believe in it, don't give up, because it will be there in the end for you, and it'll be tough, but just don't fucking give up, man.
No, mate, look, we could talk for hours, and I'm going to let you go and get on. Again, everyone, you've got to check out Chris's book, Me, Myself, and Weed. It's going to hit you in the heart, and it's going to hit you in the head, man. You're going to absolutely love it wherever you are. Chris, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pop you back in the green room just quickly, and we'll get to say hello, and I'll just wrap up here for the boys and girls. Everyone, make sure to follow him on social media. You might find him as Jerry Taylor on there.
Jerry Taylor on social.
Make sure to check him out, and we'll see him again. Everyone, give it up for Chris Taylor / it's the first time I've ever done this, / Jerry Taylor. There he is. Right, that's all we got time for broadcast. That's one of my favourite ever episodes. Absolutely love that. Make sure to check out Chris's book as well and follow him on social media. We're going to be back with another episode next week. Make sure to keep following Broadcast. Head over, check us out. We've got vlogs, we've got videos, we've got Gives It a Go videos all going up over in the YouTube. That's John's thing. He's looking after that. And hey, why not head over and buy yourself a beard comb or a monocle case or whatever it is you can buy over it. There's loads of good stuff over at the website. I don't have it in front of me just now. You can buy a beard brush and a hat and a neck gaiter. Didn't even know that was a thing. A neck gaiter. Head over there and check it out. Loads of amazing stuff. And we'll be back next week on Broadcast. Now, of course, you would think by now I'd found a way to actually start the video without looking at it. And I've not managed it yet, but I will. See you next time.